Yo, what's going on, y'all? Man, it's been a while since I've been on. So I had to take a couple days away. I had to go get my MRI. I've been having some difficulties I've been going through. Last 2 years, like 2 years ago, I tore my hip. I had a labral tear. So we'll see how that goes. That labral tear, it now formed like usually there's like fluid that could form in there, but if it goes untreated or misdiagnosed, that it can form a cyst. So I have a cyst that's right on my sciatic nerve in between my joint. So I just got my MRI. So figuring out kind of what that looks like if I need surgery. I've already been dealing with like 2 years since I had the tear in my hip. So kind of see what that looks like. Moving forward, it's definitely been causing a lot of pain. So when people say like every day waking up in pain, like, man, that sucks. But yeah, so luckily I got good news. So it's not cancer. That was actually good news I didn't want to talk about until I found out for sure. But yeah, so my cyst isn't cancer. It's at least just a cyst for now. So, but it was caused from the tear. So that's pretty cool. But anyways, y'all, Bitcoin, come on. Now, everyone was talking about selling, and I kept reading, and don't get me wrong, there's been plenty of times, y'all, like, when you look at these patterns and you really understand, like, why do people sell, right? Like, you have stimulus check, you have taxes, you have, trends, things like that. And once you take the emotions away and you look at, like, the data of, like, why is crypto so important? Why is the blockchain so important? Why is security so important? Why is it we don't want people in our business? What's up with artificial intelligence, like going to the moon, going to Mars, like colonization? Like when you look at all of that, like you don't want to be taking cash and gold with you to these other planets, right? Maybe not you per se, but if you plan to ever go to these other planets, if your family ever plans, like you don't know, but you're not going to take gold. Like that, it weighs a lot, right? And if people like Elon Musk and Amazon and all these other people are into digital currency, why wouldn't you be? Like they're the ones that are, if you look at the programs of who's doing stuff in space and that exploration, it's like Amazon. Like Jeff Bezos didn't leave Amazon, just leave Amazon. Like he's doing his own thing with like Blue something. But he's doing stuff with space too. Just like Elon Musk. Elon Musk didn't leave Tesla. He still works at Tesla, but he is focusing a lot on SpaceX. He also has Neuralink and everything else. But he's still focusing on space. So right now it's the race to space. Yeah, like space exploration is huge. And what Tesla and SpaceX, what Elon Musk is able to do with SpaceX and landing rockets, that's huge. That's why Bitcoin is kind of a pretty big thing right now. Because when you look at like everything that you could do with the digital market, digital currency, with digital assets. So anything that you own that's an asset that you can own physically but also own digitally, like that's better, right? Like you can't rob somebody for their Bitcoin necessarily. Like there's a lot of protocols to that, but like gold, you walk in, you can steal gold. You could take gold physically from you, but you physically can't take cryptocurrency. So for me, that's kind of interesting. I'm still learning a lot about this, but I also understand like the blockchain and like the security networks and different platforms and like getting cryptocurrencies to work together in the different platforms that they have. So you have to look at it like that, and then understand like scarcity. Like today, 6 billion options, $6 worth of billions of options were erased today. Like it expired. That opens up the market for a huge, is it going to go down? Is it going to go up, right? And you've probably seen it a lot if you're looking at it, you're catching articles. But that's not such a concern. Why? Because the big players that are playing in Bitcoin, they're not getting out. So the media is going to scare you. They're going to want you to sell, right? Like me personally, like if I have a lot of money, I want the stimulus check people. I want the tax money savers, the penny pinchers. I want them out of this market. Why? Because Bitcoin is a scarcity. And when things get scarce, they get expensive, right? Right now, we can see it as I look at my Robinhood, and I'm just watching this just fly up right now. Like just Bitcoin. Bitcoin's flying 55K right now. Like everyone's talking about hitting 44K, 40. That's make believe. Can we dip low? Of course. There's always a high and a low, but that's anything. Like, look at stocks. Look at your favorite stock in the market. Look at Amazon stock. Look at Microsoft. Look at Google. Look at Facebook. There's no difference compared to what somebody else is doing traditionally on the stock market compared to what I'm doing in the Bitcoin market. But if you're a collector and artwork inspires you and you can understand like long term, you keep passing. Like if you're a person that likes to collect art, right? Pictures, NFTs, right? But pictures, and you own them digitally. Now, say there's only one produced digitally, like you own that. Now, can somebody blow it up, make it themselves? Yeah, but that's not the same thing. Like owning something and plagiarizing are two different things. Like yeah, you can try to use my artwork, but you're not a business. But let a business use something that I own, that I have ownership digitally of. Like that's copyright all day. Like those are just laws, and that's in your law library. You can go to any library and read these type of laws, and that's why copyright's going to be like a huge thing, right? Like lawyers in those niche markets, this is their time to shine. Because if you take my digital asset and I start buying digital assets and I see you posting it and you're a business and you happen to be somebody who has the capability of paying that ticket that I want to put on my fridge, I can promise you that if I'm thinking that, there's millions of people who are thinking that as well. It's not about taking advantage or anything, but it's an opportunity, right? Like it's mine. Like I owned it. I bought that digitally. And that's anybody. So as long as I own it personally and I own it digitally, then you own it. I own your moment. Whether I own a serial number of it or whatever it is, I own it. LeBron James, I own some of your best moments. Thank you. Like you're an amazing player. So thank you. And Kevin Durant, like I own some of yours and you came to receive me for. So I own some of your best moments. But when Kobe Bryant comes out, I'm definitely going to own his moments and cherish that forever. Like that's my favorite player, so I definitely can't wait for them to release some of his stuff on NBA Top Shot. But I think it is that once you find out your market, right? If you're a gambler or you like real estate and you like flipping money, but you don't want to get into it, like you don't want to get your hands dirty in there, but you don't mind, like if I post, let's say, a real estate property that I'm looking at as a general contractor, and I post an NFT and I take Ethereum as currency. And I allow you, I put what it is, how much it's going to cost, what is your return on investment. I give you the whole summary of what you should make back on that ROI and what you need to put down. You write out the smart contract on that. Boom. You label it through the blockchain network, depending on which platform you're running through. Mostly like Flow. Flow's a good one with Dapper Labs. But when you get those contracts going, I don't need to meet my investors like any angel investor. Just you bid on the house through cryptocurrency, I turn to cash, whatever, soon banks are getting into this, like Chase Bank, you're not going nowhere. We see what you're doing. You're getting into this too, but it's already that the big players, it's not so much that we should be worried about which corporations are getting into this. Understand like the big time, like investors, the people who kind of control maybe how you interact on social media or maybe how you interact in the sporting industry. Or however you move, maybe check out like that person you're moving like, or that person's market that you're moving in, see what they're investing into. Because I promise you, look into Jay-Z and you're going to find out that he likes NFTs. You're going to find out that Twitter and Facebook, they like NFTs and they like cryptocurrency, which is kind of frustrating for me with Facebook because they banned me. So, so like this information I share is very knowledgeable, but you have to want to go get it. And when I look at these markets and you really look at why cryptocurrency is so important, like nobody wants to own anything physically anymore. Why? You have this. Gary Vee talks about this all the time. Phone. Your phone is all you really need. You don't need a wallet. Why? Because I can digitally show you my ID. I can digitally show you my passport now. Like I can digitally show you my bank card, right? Like Apple Pay. Apple did this. Apple started this a long time ago. So, Samsung started this a long time ago with the Apple Pays. And then you had like Venmo and you have PayPal and you have Cash App. So like all these different platforms already playing. The only thing is like instead of me playing with my bank account money, I put my money into the people market of Bitcoin. Bitcoin for me is the people market. Anybody can say what they want, but for me, I see Bitcoin as a way to let my money grow in the market, right? I also see a way of something that can keep building with a bunch of different platforms and what it's able to do as a whole, especially since the entire globe is adapted to Bitcoin. And the globe, I mean everywhere. It doesn't matter which continent you live in, except for Antarctica. Let's not get crazy, but you know about Bitcoin. Whether you know about all the other coins are relevant. Those are alternate coins. Those are irrelevant. Like they're irrelevant but irrelevant because the big one is Bitcoin. That's the global currency, and that's cool to have a global currency, and everyone else can have their own currencies, right? Like the different type of altcoins, the different type of like Ethereum, right? That can do their type of marketing through maybe like Dapper Labs. You have Flow coins. Why? Because Flow is a platform for Dapper Labs. That Flow is actually who produces a lot of these cool platforms that people can go on and do these type of investments, like NBA Top Shot or Dr. Seuss. And then there's like Crypto Kitties and stuff like that. If you really get into it, you'll see what I'm saying. But that's all controlled by Dapper Labs and Flow. So the next one is, I would say, keep seeing like the scarcity, right? Like everyone, we like to look at social media, and I don't pay attention to social media, so I don't want to say everyone, but I would say get into more of the details. Like some of the links I've shared in my videos, check those out. Those are actually good links. Like I hope somebody that's watching this types those links and just goes on and reads the information. Like knowledge is going to help you in the future. And right now, like I'm still battling my own things, right? Like I was in the military, and then I got out of the military. I worked for the state, sucked. Went back to college, got degrees, busted my butt really bad. Did whatever I had to do, right? Get that education and get those resources. Did whatever it took. And then 2 months after graduating from college, I tear my hip. For the last 2 years since then, I've been kind of just trying to figure it out, y'all. Like being an entrepreneur, being somebody who wants to stay motivated and not let the negativity really get to them. Things change in your life all the time. Why? Because you have to understand your body and keep pivoting. And I like the trades, right? But I also know that I have bad back. I was in the military, right? I went to Afghanistan. A lot of things happened over there. I was infantry, recon. We did a lot of stuff over there. So, my back is not what it used to be. My shoulders, right, aren't what they used to be. But overall, like when I tore my hip, it kind of took a lot from me because I was very motivated, just graduated college, wanted to get a career started, just got out of the military and wanted to get my path going, and then boom, tear my hip. Ever since then, kind of just been trying to figure it out. Got HVAC certification, appliance certification, EPA refrigeration license, general contractor license. Man, just thousands of dollars the last 2 years, just gaining so much knowledge, and still to this day, I still try to figure it out. And now today, to kind of find out that I might need surgery that could take me out for another up to like 6 months or so, depending on what happens. Like that's huge, man. Like I've already been in pain for 2 years since this happened, just because my numbness in my arms and my leg, and sharp pains down my leg, and every day I got to stretch, every day I got to massage. So I would say like stay motivated, man. Like everything's gonna want to tear you down. So if you're watching this, just keep going. Like trust me, man. Like every day, like when someone tells you they're in pain, or whenever tells you like trust me, just keep going. Just keep going. But whatever makes you happy, like honestly, whatever makes you happy in that moment, run with it. But let it make sense. Don't do things that don't really make so much sense. And I've learned this the hard way multiple times. I've done this plenty of times where I've learned things the hard way, just trying to teach myself things that I didn't get to learn as a young man. So, but even then, I guess those were great experiences. So run with wherever your passion is, whatever you want to learn, just try to be the best at it. Be the best. Like don't go into something if you're not going to try your hardest. And even if you fail, even if it doesn't work, just keep going. Because I promise, like even that failure, even those lessons, like it's all lessons learned at the end of the day. Like that's what it really is. Experience is lesson learned. So if somebody looks at your resume and they see you've had multiple, questionable events in your history, just honestly, it's experiences. Don't let your 20s determine how your 30s, your 40s, and your 50s are going to be. Like don't let your 30s do that to your 20s. Don't let your 30s do that with your 40s. Like keep going after what you want. So right now, like I've hit another road, barrier. but I'm still getting, I'm still in school right now, learning solar energy, solar panel installation. And then obviously I'm going to have to go through this physical therapy stuff again and see what happens with my whole hip. And, when I come back off of it, just keep grinding again, right? Like not keep stopping, go through physical therapy, get better. Like that's all I can do. Like it's already stressful enough, right? Like you go through the military and you go through a lot, right? And you get PTSD and you see a lot of things that people at 18, 19, 20 years old, this shit ain't a movie in the militaries. This shit ain't a movie. That's all I can really tell anybody. Like if you were in the military and you hear me say this, like, you know what I'm saying. Like if you in the military, you've been in the trenches, you understand what I'm telling you. This ain't a fucking movie. So don't go to the military because you play Call of Duty or you play Gears of War or whatever the hell. Like wrong idea. It's not a movie. It's not a game. Like that shit's serious over there. But like, right. So like I dealt with that and then I lost, good friends on the way, suicide and Afghanistan and just connections, right? Just not really talking to my buddies no more. Everybody moves on. Everyone has a different life, but that's the relationship you develop as a young man. And then you get out of the military and it kicks you in the butt and says, all right, see you later. Figure it out. And then, like, if you're really watching this, you know what I'm saying. You're like, damn, got my DD214. Yes. Fuck. Where do I go next? Well, fuck, dude. If you're not ambitious, I promise, if you're not passionate about finding the resource in the VA, we are set up for failure as veterans. Honestly, like everybody wants to help, everyone wants to try, and there's been a lot of good people who've tried, but I found the best way to get results is to do it yourself. You got to go in there, you got to ask questions, and don't leave. Patient advocacy is your best resource when you want to know something. You don't leave and go talk to patient advocacy. Somebody's going to help you. I promise a social worker, somebody's going to help you. So if you're a veteran, you're watching this, go to the VA. Do not leave until you have the results you're looking for. If they're not giving you a doctor or social worker, trust me, you deserve it. But I had to learn that the hard way. No one kind of didn't really tell me all these things. So I had to learn the hard way. I learned how to get my, service-connected disabilities, right? And you go through all those periods. And this is kind of just my military stuff. So if you're looking for Bitcoin and all that, it's not going to happen right here. But I will say, keep investing because that shit's getting scarce and it's going to keep going up. And I'm seeing it. It's in the numbers. If you look at the waves patterns, that wave pattern is going up. And look at the big whales that haven't gotten out yet. Don't look about your friends. Look at the big whales who have not got out yet that are buying more coins as you're dropping out. They're buying more coins. And a lot of people bought a lot of coins at about 50 to 54 is when you've seen a big bunch of coins coming in from big corporations already. So that's already happened, right? Because if you haven't been paying attention this past month, you've missed those big corporations that bought in because it's probably won't be able to find it right away unless you have to go Google and search it. But big companies been buying in and they bought in around that 54. So I don't see us dropping past this 52, 54 mark. And I really see us hitting that 61 that I predicted before. And this is just me, regular guy, just predicting, seeing how this goes, reading the research and the data and looking at the metrics and just focusing on what's happening and then understand emotions and the psychology of investing. Then you look at it and then you figure out how the markets and what's a trend and what's like facts. So trends and facts are two different things. I stick with facts. That's why I have NBA Top Shot is a fact, right? Dr. Seuss is a fact. All those things. But YouTube guys that are selling NFTs, not a fact. That's the worst investment you could ever make. And if you're watching this and you're one of them, terrible. I feel bad for anybody who's actually bought anything, for anybody who's a YouTube star that's an NFT, selling it because they're not going to be famous in 10 to 15 years. What have they actually done? Buy an NFT from somebody who's made a trademark in the world, not just on social media, on a YouTube. Anyways, I don't want to take shots at anybody because somebody would take that personal, but there's too many of you guys out there. Anyways, the next one is like, so when I went to the military, I went through those experiences and I look at all this like data, like the experiences of everything that I have in my past is why I can look at this data and kind of see how it's flowing and it's amazing. So definitely pay attention, but do the research. Now let me get back into what I was talking about before. So then I went to the military and then I got out of the military, got kind of kicked in the butt and I jumped around a lot and I found that I could work for the state of Wisconsin. Doing what? Correction officer. Did that for a while, jumped around to 2 different institutions, but I realized working for the state is very negative and it's not for everybody. And it's just because that's more of a negative environment. Working for the government is very brutal. Just in general. There's some good government agencies, but overall, working for the government's brutal. Um, just yeah, the hours, the pay, the everything just doesn't add up. And I've learned that really quick, just working for a couple of you guys. So, but then after that, like graduate from college, do everything that they tell you, right? You go to college, you get a degree, you can get a good job, and that's not the truth. Being a veteran doesn't matter. Like, yes, it matters to some people, but it don't matter to anybody, really anybody else. All it is a tax write-off that you hired a veteran. To me, honestly, that's how I see a lot of this. The way people act towards veterans, like more of a you're just trying to get a tax write-off is how it seems. And especially if you're a veteran, like do your tax research. Like these companies are saving like $2,000 per veteran that they hire automatically off taxes. So, and if you have disabilities and all these other check marks that you're checking off on just anybody in general, like the more check marks you check off for these people, on those questionnaires, like the more better you're helping them. You're helping them write off a lot more taxes. And I know this because when you open up a business, you should know all the tax write-offs, and you should understand where you can always save money, where you can spend money, and how you can spend money, even if it's benefiting you, but for a good cause. So like veterans, like know that you have a lot of value just in what you bring to the table automatically. So don't let nobody tell you that otherwise. And I learned that just because, right? Like veteran doesn't really mean nothing. I was like told that. These aren't like fiction. Like these aren't just things I just lie. Like these are like I walked into an interview for a bank and I really wanted the position. It was when I thought I wanted to get into investing, right? And she tore me apart about my resume. I went to Marquette University and she shot me down. I was a veteran. She didn't care. All she cared about was what kind of experience I had. And she worked for a big bank that I admired, that I wanted to work for, and it shut me down. And that's what I originally wanted to go to school for, like investing, sales, real estate, stuff like that. When I got shut down, I kind of was like, I'll focus on something else. I like the law, so I focused on the law a lot. Worked from Milwaukee County Courthouse. It was pretty cool working there. Got good experience, diversity, dealing with multiple cases at multiple times, different people you have to get in touch with. It was really good experience. Yeah, and then obviously when I graduated from college, I tore my hip, and here we are today, just juggling, opportunities, right? Like when you get thrown so many different things at one time, you have to pivot. When you have a family and you have kids and you have a wife and you have bills, right? Bills don't stop, y'all. Like that shit doesn't stop. So don't think your dream should ever stop. You pivot to whatever makes sense at the time. And if it makes sense to you and it's a great idea, then keep going. And when I say it's a great idea, like make sure it actually makes sense, because I've made these mistakes financially, just terrible mistakes of just going after every opportunity that I saw, and it never really paid off. I gained a lot of experience, gained a lot of certifications, but I found out that it wasn't really my passion. That's why it didn't pay off. It wasn't really my passion. It was just a great idea. So sometimes having these great ideas aren't always the best thing. But I've learned that, and that's why I'm able to share that with somebody that's watching this. Don't jump at everything that's just a great idea. But I will say that if you need to learn things, take chances, take risks. Like if there's things you don't know, take a risk, learn it. Udemy is huge. I like Udemy. But do your research on Udemy. Make sure you're getting a good course for your bang for your buck. There's a lot of good ways to get around on Udemy. So always Udemy for sure. If you want any education, you can always learn something on Udemy. I don't care what it is. They teach you it for the most part. After that, I would say just research. That's the best way that I found. Like when it comes to knowledge, like read a lot of books. Most people don't even read a book a year, but they read social media posts a lot. So it doesn't make sense to me, right? Like read a book, gain some knowledge, 10 pages a day. I challenge you to do that, 10 pages a day. My best year, I read, and that was right when I got hurt. I read 28 books that year. Do you retain all that knowledge? Nah, not so much, but it was more of I got what I needed out of it, the message, and I remember the books. Do I remember all the books? No, because not all books had the same effect. But overall, like when I see the book, I bring back those good memories of what I remember in that book, that good knowledge. I keep taking the knowledge that's going to benefit me in my life. I carry a lot of books. I keep like a little bookshelf with me. So when I do move around, I have my books and I keep them all with me. Why? Because yes, you can read books digitally. But for me personally, the way I like to learn, I like to just read the book. I don't really like to look at screens all the time. Bad for your eyes anyways, right? Then I would say that. Like, if you don't know what you want to do, just keep getting knowledge, keep getting certifications. When it doesn't make sense to anybody else, hey, the best thing you can have is knowledge. I promise you, your knowledge will pay off. Somebody's going to pay for what you know. And it may not make sense right now. It may not make sense for what you're doing, but somebody will one day pay for what you know. And that's proven even now. Even though I'm hurt, even though I can't really get into what I want to get into, I got to put my career, my ambitions once again on hold. Like, that's very mentally, that's hard, y'all. Like, when you have a kid, like kids, and you're married and you have bills. Like, once I brought that up again, like, y'all, I'm only 30 years old and I've been ready, like military, boom, ready to get my career started. Oh, nope, don't like Murphy State, go back to college. Okay, cool, graduate college. Now I'm ready to get nope, can't, nope, you're hurt. Then you bounce around, try to figure it out. Still, then you find out labor jobs are not for you, but you can talk. And you've been through a lot, so why not talk to people? And that's what this is for, right? YouTube helped me break past those uncomfortable moments of being online. So it'll pay off. But overall, I say stay positive, y'all. Like, everyone has a story. Everyone has a purpose. And I do mean that. Everyone has a purpose. Everyone has something they want in life. I don't care what it is. To me, honestly, I admire people that are wealthy. I like the way that they move. I like the way that they move their money. I like the way that they stay ahead of the game. I fancy that life. Not because I grew up in with limited resources or in different environments. No. I admire the way that they move. And if that means I have to move in certain styles and certain ways to get to that type of way, to move in that type of a form, to have a certain wealth in my pocket so I can move in that way, then it takes to get there, get through these surgeries, get through these surgeries again, get through physical therapy again, get through the cyst and everything else that's going on, so you can get your body back together, so you can get the numbness out of your hands, like whatever it takes, y'all. So yes, I'm stressed. Yes, I'm depressed. Yes, it sucks. Fucking sucks, y'all. Like, if you don't believe that, like, if you're watching this or even right now at 27 minutes and you don't think like all this sucks to tell you that I can't even pursue my passion right now, you don't know what I'm really telling you then. Like, what I'm actually really going through deep into all of this. But regardless, at least I want to share it. I want to share it with somebody that feels like there's no hope, because trust me, there is. Like, even when everything's gone, just try to find something. Like, if it's reading a book, just find the positive. If you don't have money and you're trying to figure it out, trust me, when you don't have money, when you don't have food, you find a way. You always find a way. Trust me, I haven't worked in 3 months because I've been trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with my hip. And I left another position because I didn't agree with the way that management treated their employees. But regardless of all that, like, I left that type of a job. I dealing with this hip problem. Like, I haven't worked in 3 months. So trust me, when you need to get paid, when you need to do something, you find a way. And I'm telling you right now, if you're looking to build an investment, if you're looking to build long-term wealth that's going to keep generating over time, put $10 away a month. Like put $10 out of a check, put $20 out of a check, put $50 out of a check. Shit, give me your money and I'll put it away for you, and I'll write a damn little book out, like, just so you can save it. How that works, I don't know, but I'm not an investment person, right? But whatever it takes, like, save your money, y'all. Like, don't spend your money. Like, save whatever you can. If you're gonna go out to eat, you're gonna go to the bar. Like, if you're gonna buy somebody else a drink at that bar, buy yourself a drink. Like, buy yourself a drink, yes, but buy yourself another drink and put that in your bank account. Because if you're gonna buy somebody else a drink, if you're gonna buy somebody else something else with your money, it better be making a return on it, especially if money is your biggest concern right now. So financially, stress, yeah, right? So you find ways to make money. You find ways to educate people. You find ways to get uncomfortable, being comfortable, uncomfortable. You find ways to mentally make yourself happy. Trust me, dealing with PTSD, not being able to get sleep, like, some nights are worse than others, but overall, like, back pain every day, shoulder pain every day, always stretching, hip pain every day, hip pain 2 years straight. Like, I cannot imagine anybody else who has to go through anything pain-wise longer than 2 years that I had to go through in a hip. Man, when it comes to what this is, man, I could only imagine anything way worse. So I don't want to go into those details. I want to compare, but man, every day, y'all, like, to stay positive every day when you're in pain in your hip, like, it's very hard. So a lot of people don't get enough credit. So if you're in pain right now, like, man, stay positive, because I know it's hard. I don't know your experience, but I know the feeling and it sucks. I know, but keep going. Like, don't let it stop you. Just keep going. And honestly, like, keep getting better. Like, take vitamins, eat healthier, change your diet, go for, whatever it is that can make you get better, do it. Do I want to get surgery? No, I want to get my career started, but I also understand, like, I got to get this taken care of. Otherwise it could harm the rest of my life, right? Like, I have the cartilage that could end up causing arthritis in my hips. And then what happens? Then you need hip replacements. So, like, I'm already wearing down all that cartilage. Like, it sucks. Like, I like sports. I haven't played sports in 2 years because I can't cut, right? Like, you tell the doctor, I can't cut. It's not working. My hip's not working. Trust me, I know this. I play sports. It's not working like it used to. No, you have bursitis. It's not bursitis. I have a labral tear, and I've been saying this forever. So it's good to hear. Honestly, that's probably the best news I heard all day, is that I was right. As cocky as that sounds. Fucking right. When you know your body, you fucking know your body better than any doctor. Unless they prove it to you in an image, right? Like, you can't know your body if there's little cysts in your body. But when you know there's something wrong, you know there's something wrong. So always speak up. And that's what happened, right? I've been speaking up about this. So finally the VA was like, yeah, let's get you in. We'll get this taken care of. Let's see what's up. So thank you, the VA. Take care of me. But that also took, having to go and get that help and reach out to them too. So they don't look out for you if you're not looking out to do more for yourself, I should say. But otherwise, yeah, like, Bitcoin's huge. Blockchain, Uniswap's a good one, another good one. I will say that Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, like, if you're not in Doge, you do you even know who Elon Musk is? Like, do you even understand what going to Mars is? Like, Doge, like, if you like going to sporting industries, and soon you won't have to worry about cash as much, right? Like, having Doge is going to be very important, because you can soon just pay for Doge to go to sporting events. And, like, Doge is very accessible. It's weird to even talk about cryptocurrency because we don't use it every day. So I guess I can see why so many people are so weary about it, because we don't use it every day. And I don't even use it every day. I still use regular cash because most people don't accept Apple Pay yet. So imagine being so far ahead that you're not even, like, people don't even use Apple Pay yet. But here I am over using digital currency. Man, being ahead of the future. But anyways, y'all, hey, stay motivated, y'all. And if you're watching this, hey, I hope that somehow, some way I can inspire you, because trust me, I know, like, every day you got to push through what people don't understand, what you're really going through. So never give up. Keep going. Keep working. And always remember your passion. Understand that there will be barriers. There's going to be times you're going to have to pivot. But don't let it stop the overall vision. Don't let it stop where you want to take your family, where you want to take your goals, where you want to take yourself. At the end of the day, that's what really matters. Being healthy is number one. You can't do anything unless you're not healthy. So you have to understand that. And I mean that physically, mentally, be healthy. Relationship, everything. Be healthy. And so, like, mentally, like, I've been dealing with a lot, but I'm not as bad as you would think, right? Like even though, like, I'm stressed and I have way more going on than people probably even think, I try to balance it as well as I can. So I will say, like, keep going. Mentally, like, financially, like, once again, I haven't worked in 3 months, but I found ways to generate some type of an income through getting ahead, thinking faster. So using my assets and hurry up and jumping into markets that other people aren't looking into yet. So that way, by the time people do jump in, whatever I've done already for investments, they're not making me money now, no, but later on they will. And that's what matters. Later on they will. That's what matters. So, and that's not just for me. Like, I'm thinking, like, give it to my son, give it to my grandkids, somehow keep that in my legacy. If everything gets taken from me right now, I walk away from this earth and my wife and my son are here by themselves, at least I can give them something. Whether it's NFTs, I've told all my wife this too. So let me finish with that. Sorry. So keep going after everything you guys want, but I always talk way more than I want to. But anyways, teach your spouse's stuff. Like, y'all, teach your spouse's stuff. Like, that's one thing. Like, when I think about, like, being in this pain, right? Like, my body, they told me I have growth, whether it's cancer or not, I don't know, right? But I'm always trying to remember, like, what if I taught my wife? What does she know? What password does she know? What bills does she not know how to pay? What does she not know how to do? Does she know how to get hold of certain things in the VA to make sure my son can go to school when he's 18 years old? Like, those are very important to understand how to teach your wife, whether it's your husband or wife. Just for me personally, my wife, teach them everything you know. Teach them everything that you know. So that way, if I walk away from this earth, I'm fine. Me personally, I walk away today. Yes, my family's gonna miss me, of course. But overall, my wife knows all my passwords. She has access to every single account that I own. She knows she knows every number that can get her the information she needs. If something happens to me as far as getting buried, I already have that taken care of. Then you also have to look at like my buried is already taken care of. Most of the time that stresses people when they die, like that stresses the family. I was buried. I've already taken care of mine ahead of time. I'm only 30. But I've taken care of it because I've been so proactive. I did that 2 years ago, actually. When I first got hurt, I really started looking at ways to make sure that my wife knew a lot of information. But then financials, bank accounts, everything I do, my wife knows. Every document, hard drive, whatever it is, my wife knows it. She knows the password. She knows how to get to it. Whether you're seeing this or not, I can encrypt codes and I can change anything quickly. So that doesn't matter because this is social media. Somebody may see this in the future. So I can always encrypt codes, and writing code isn't that hard when you keep studying it every day. Just get a little bit better, get a little bit better, get a little better. And I've cracked a couple codes and I've done it. So, but anyways, I will say, just keep pushing forward, y'all. Teach your spouses everything. Keep going after your passions. Never give up. Understand that, a vision is going to have multiple pivots, going to have multiple barriers, going to have multiple steps. But being 30, being 20, being 40, being 50, you don't have to stop what you want to do in your life. I don't care how old you are, right? Like, KFC, what is it? Flanders, Colonel Flanders, the big white guy, stole the guy's recipe, right? He got famous of KFC recipe. But he was still 60 years old. I don't really care for the guy, but he still did it when he was 60 in the 60s. So don't think that your passion has to stop because of your age. But I hope you guys all have a great night. Have a great weekend. If you watch this, once again, thank you. Please subscribe, like my YouTube channel. I drop all the information that I know, all the information I have, what I'm doing in my journey, where I'm at, kind of just documenting my journey of where I can go. And hopefully this builds up enough connections and resources that I can reach out to others, as well as just talk about my journey or talk about whatever it is that's going on, or, consulting, whatever it is that you need from me. Reach out to me. Thank you. Have a good evening. Bye.